Have you ever brought home a brand new Wi-Fi router? You plug it in, and the first thing you do is change the factory password. We all have this instinct. We know that right out of the box, the device is completely exposed. In cybersecurity, there is a specific name for this raw, untreated baseline of danger. It is called inherent risk. It is the level of threat or vulnerability a system faces before anyone steps in to add passwords, firewalls, or any other kind of safety measure. Understanding this default setting is the mandatory first step for any business. Before an organization can figure out what kind of armor it needs, it has to know exactly how vulnerable it is when standing completely bare. Think about a modern office environment. Every single day, employees type out emails, share spreadsheets, and log into systems that hold sensitive information. If we look at the default behavior of an unprotected office, people naturally lean toward using simple, easy-to-guess passwords, and they routinely send unprotected files back and forth to save time. In this baseline state, the threats are immediate. Without safeguards, it is remarkably easy for an outsider to gain access to the network, leading to stolen data or permanent data loss. New technologies add to this baseline danger. Today, AI chatbots can generate convincing, grammatically correct phishing messages in a single second. This allows attackers to send out a massive volume of these traps, making it much more likely that a single human mistake will compromise the whole office. This happens because the office, in its inherent state, is missing crucial layers of defense, like requiring a second step to log in, often called multi-factor authentication, or using tools that generate and store complex passwords for the whole team. When these vulnerabilities are exploited, the company faces heavy financial penalties and loses the trust of the customers it worked so hard to build. In the digital world, ignoring inherent risk means leaving your company's information door wide open to anyone who happens to walk by. The context shifts dramatically when we step into an industrial facility. This is the realm of operational technology, where digital commands control physical equipment. These massive machines are run by digital brains called programmable logic controllers, or PLCs. They act as the default operators, telling valves when to open and robotic arms when to move. Out of the box, these controllers are highly vulnerable. They frequently ship with factory passwords installed, and they are often plugged directly into the network without any barriers to isolate them. Because they lack that armor, an attacker who slips past the outer network can find these unshielded devices and rewrite the core instructions that keep the plant running. By simply altering the safety limits on a controller, the pressure in a pipe can build until it bursts, or a heavy robotic arm can be pushed until the equipment fails entirely. This is what makes operational inherent risks so critical. When a vulnerability is exploited here, it doesn't just steal data. It translates directly into physical damage and a threat to human safety. Looking at both the digital office and the factory floor in their naked, default states can feel overwhelming. But security teams measure this baseline for a reason. You cannot build the right defenses until you know exactly what the worst-case scenario looks like. This chart shows how experts map out that worst-case scenario. They look at what would happen if no controls existed, measuring everything from physical safety to the company's ability to keep its doors open and its services running during a crisis. Think of this starting point as a solid block, your baseline exposure. Applying security measures acts like a shield, shaving off significant portions of that danger. What remains is residual risk, the much smaller, inevitable remainder of the original threat. Completely eliminating risk is impossible. People will always make mistakes and attackers will always adapt, so residual risk will always persist. Measuring inherent risk isn't about being afraid. It is about having a factual starting point so you can build exactly the right defenses to stay in business.